What is going on, everyone? Today, I sit down with good friend Corrie Leister of Inspired by You Coatings in Pennsylvania. Now, Corrie is a catalyst for change in advancing the painting industry. I actually had the pleasure of also sitting in on her talk during the PCA Expo. She has such a great story and such a great passion for advancing the trade. One thing that I love about this talk is how she dives into her culture in her business and how she made her cabinet coating business run at optimal speed with nothing but part-time workers. I mean, it's awesome how she does it. And if you follow Corrie, if you have her on Facebook and you see what kind of work they put out, you could see that she's second to none in terms of quality. So awesome episode interviewing one of the industry's best, and I think you're going to really enjoy this interview. Contractors all over the world are wanting more time, more freedom, more impact. The way we do this is through implementing systems, processes, standards. Welcome to the Contractor Secrets Podcast. Here we hit business strategy, coaching, mindset, motivation, the tools you need for success. So strap in, listen up, and get ready to grow on the Contractor Secrets Podcast.
Let's do it.
All right, we are live. Corrie, welcome to the Contractor Secrets Podcast. This was pretty hard for me to get you on, probably because your cabinet business is loading. So wait for a few minutes. Welcome. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
Great. Ready to get some, ready to extract some gems. So, sitting in on your talk at the PCA Expo, I learned a lot. But one thing even before that I knew about you was culture. Briefly, if you could just give me an idea of how important culture is to you and your company. Now, if you don't know Corrie, she's got a really beautiful cabinet company up in northern or central Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Great atmosphere. One thing that you do is you bring in people who don't quite have experience, but they fit the characteristics that you're looking for. And if you know this, one of the hardest things is finding good quality talent and help in this industry. So talk a little bit about how you've developed your culture in your company. I think I want to start there.
Well, I think culture is essential to any business. And what we've actually had people come to my shop on their way home from work in tears saying, I don't like my job. Are you hiring? Because they know that
Wow.
we have a culture where it's a mutual respect with one another, and our employees know that they're valued and appreciated. And I think that that's rare in a lot of industries, and here it's important. Why one. My dad always brought me up to believe that you've got to love what you do, and if you don't love it, then you need to find something else, because that's so
Right.
important if you don't want to burn out. And so
Right.
that's kind of the culture we have going here. We want our employees to enjoy what they do, and we want them to um, take pride in the work that they do. And I
Sure.
try to make them feel a part as much as possible. And I think that that's really important for them to feel like they contributed to the success of the business. And it's our business as a team. It's not my business, it's our business.
Sure.
And they play a part in that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, the value system there within the company, you could just see it from afar, and I can only imagine what that looks like in person. Even just what's behind you. I mean, the constant reminders of the standards, right? The constant reminders
Yeah.
of the teamwork, the constant reminders of camaraderie, and I've got your back and you've got my back. And hey, if you need to take care of your kids, I'll step in and help out because you're gonna have my back next
Yeah.
week. It's a little bit different than what the norm is, right? But to the
Yeah.
average person, say, you're going to be taken advantage of, Corrie. These people see your kindness and they say, well, I could walk all over this lady. I could do what I want. And she's so sweet
Yeah.
and kind. And what would you say to the average, individual that sees that way of employee first mentality and thinks that it's a dead end rather than what you're experiencing, which seems to be fruitful?
Yeah. Don't mistake my kindness for weakness. I think that there's a standard of excellence, and if they're not performing, then really, that's on them, and that's going to fall back on them. And the thing is, people want to perform here. Like, they want to be a part of something great. And I don't think you should lower your standards or not have those expectations just because you think that um, they need more structure. Or like in our business, I give them room to fail. I think that's the only way that we're going to succeed. And we know that there's no pain emergencies. We can fix anything. And um, now we can fix it, and but we don't want to fix it all the time. You know what I mean? You can make a
Right.
mistake once,
Right.
and let's learn from that, and let's move forward. But it gives them that freedom to kind of take ownership. And like I said before, I want them to play a part in the team's success. But if they're not pulling their own weight, they really kind of weed themselves out. We do a 90-day trial period here, and it's really interesting, the dynamics of it, because we've got to make sure that they're a right fit for us, and we're a right fit for them too. Like, it's got to be a time where we're kind of feeling each other out. And the environment that we've created, like, the ladies on our team are workhorses. We've got 8 ladies who are just, they work all day.
Wow.
And people find, like,
So let
they
me
they
just go
think,
back. This is an all woman team.
yep, it's all women. And my brother-in-law
Yeah.
Sean works for us.
Amazing.
He's a wild
Okay.
man. And he actually came to our shop to help expand our shop, and he was tearing down walls and stuff,
Yeah.
and he never left. So I put him on our payroll.
That's
And
so cool.
he's
That's
been
so
a
cool. I
he's
love
been a
that.
great
Yeah.
asset. And then my husband
Yeah.
Chad, he does all of our sales and scheduling and things like that. But our on-site
Love
crew
it.
is
I love
all
it.
women. And so yeah, they're all moms and
So one of the
grandmothers.
things you hear
And
people say is that you say grandmothers?
mhm.
You have a grandmother working
But
for you? I love it.
Patricia is a full-time grandma, and she was my first employee. She's been with me for almost 5 years now. She was with me when I was working back in my garage, and she is
Amazing.
amazing. And she has helped to establish the culture that we have here. You know, she was my first employee, and I was like, I want a million of
Wow.
Patricia, you know. And so it kind of helped me know what to look
Yeah,
for.
I know it. I know what that feels like.
Yeah,
Right. And what's
yeah,
interesting is, for me, I think as a leader, one thing that a leader is really good at is identifying something in someone else that they don't currently see in themselves and pulling it out of them.
yeah,
And,
yeah.
I think if you have that keen awareness of the individuals that come, across your path, if you're just looking at the surface of what's their skill set, are they going to get me to my result now rather than, you know what, I might have to put a little work into this person, but I can see major potential. Is that what you had to do with
Yeah.
Patricia? Because I'm sure when maybe you guys were friends or maybe it just started
Hmm.
off as a hobby, or how did that work to the point where you recognized that this person was going to be an A plus player for you, someone that you won 1,000 of? Did they come in knowing
Well,
how to
yeah.
refinish cabinets?
No, but she did work at a paint store. She worked at a local specialty paint store,
Okay.
and she was actually one of the people who taught me how to paint at the beginning.
Wow.
And
Even better.
so,
Yeah.
yeah, so I knew she was leaving that job because she wanted to be a full-time grandma, but we had developed a relationship and just kind of kept in contact. And I knew that I needed some help as our schedule started to get busier. And I wanted to start filling in the gaps of things that I didn't like to do as much. And I was not crazy about prep. It's the most important thing, but I love to
Right.
spray, and I wasn't crazy about prep. So I needed to
Yeah.
find somebody who could help me. And she actually
Sure.
had her own cleaning business and loves to clean. And I was like, oh, well, let's
Oh,
see
you
if
could
she'll give me
degrease these
a day a
cabinets.
week. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And so the crazy thing is she was a business owner. She owned her own cleaning business. And now we have three, three or four business owners on our team, you know, and
Wow.
it's really awesome because
Amazing.
they all treat my business like it's their
Like
own.
it's theirs.
And
Unbelievable.
it's pretty awesome.
The
Yeah.
autonomy is
Yeah.
amazing. And autonomy is
Yeah.
important, when you could just let people go and not have to stress about whether or not, the standard's going to be upheld. But I think it starts with setting the standard. And that goes back to your culture of how you recruit these people in. And I think I'm just going to assume
Right.
that your recruiting process is organic at this point, to the point where
Yeah.
friends of these individuals that work for you are now coming on board. you don't
Yeah.
really to do much recruiting, and even if you did, it'd probably be pretty
Yeah.
hard to get in. Would you share a little bit about what that's looking like in terms of how you attract people in?
Yeah. Yeah. We it is pretty organic right now. And I've tried to put posts up and stuff, and I find like the
Right,
people that I attract from there, they're just not the right fit.
right,
Some of them are, but the majority of the people,
yeah,
it's just like, so what we do is if we're looking to hire, if we need more people, and I always tell my team, hey, keep your eye out for anybody who you would love to work with, who you feel would be a good fit for our culture.
right,
And in fact, Bethany, our one of our newest employees, she's been like talking to everybody because she loves working here, and she works here 2 days a
yeah.
week, and she's got three small kids, and so
Wow,
she's just like, well, all of us. I mean, Brooke works with us. She has six kids, and so like they're all moms, and they're all juggling schedules. But Bethany, she was
I love
like,
it.
she called me just last week, and she's like, "Hey, Corrie, you're never gonna guess who I talked to. Christine, she's so excited about coming to work for you, and she can give you a couple days a week. She loves,
Wow.
she's just like a right fit for the culture. And so
That's
it's really cool
awesome
when
that
we
you're
have
willing to take
employees
on
that want to build.
part-time too.
Yeah. Well, actually,
Yeah,
all of our
it's
employees are
awesome that
all
you're
part
taking on
time.
part-time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
They're all
And I
part
think
time
it's awesome
because,
because
yeah,
during
go
that
ahead.
during that time period, yeah, during the time period that they're there, I'm sure you're getting 110%,
Yeah.
rather than,
Yeah.
a whole week of grind. Maybe you're getting 80%. That's so
Yeah.
cool how you've managed that workflow and that style. It's awesome.
It's a little challenging to manage because you have to know exactly who's working and when and what hours and all of that. But at the same time, it is so great because, like you said, they can give 100%. If they know they're only coming in for 2 days, they can
Right,
hammer it out in 2 days. And or like we have Patricia who works 1 day a week. She can come in and she can just knock it out. And a lot of times she'll stay later if she needs to get more done or whatever. But they know like this is their day, and they're, like I said, they're all moms, so this is kind of their break from their everyday grind, and so they can come
right,
in and they can just do it. If they were to do what I do like 7 days a week, it would be very easy for them to burn out or to not give as much on a daily
right,
basis, but because they know that it
right.
is short term, they can do that.
How
Yeah.
often do you have meetings with your team to kind of reinstill culture and values and the mission, and how important is that to you? If you look at like what your goal is as a leader, how important is it to you to make sure that you're reinstilling this? Because sometimes
Mhm.
even me, we get a little complacent when it comes to these things. We're so busy, but it's like, hey, if we're not reinstilling the vision, reinstilling the
Mhm.
values, reinstilling the mission, it can kind of get to a point where everyone's kind of doing their own thing and everyone gets spread out
Yeah.
so thin. How have you been able to hone in on the process, slow down, and make sure everyone still stays, in alignment with what you set out to do, is just your values, your
Yeah.
system, your standards, all that?
We don't have meetings as much as we should. I'll be totally transparent. However, when you live your culture, you don't really like, we live it.
Yeah.
And I've created our business model. It runs in 10-day cycles. And the reason that I did that was because we had some turnover. Some people had to leave, some people were coming in, and I needed to be there with them all the time. And so our 10-day cycles work amazingly because we can bring in anybody at any time and train them within like a short amount of time. Within one cycle, they're ready to
Wow.
go. And our first week, the first 5 days, where we tear down all the doors and drawers on day one, we bring them into our shop. And so we're working on doors and drawers all week one, and we're all doing it together. We're all pitching in and playing our part. So, our
Can you break
processes and
down that
systems.
10-day cycle a
Yeah,
little deeper so I could, like, because I
sure.
feel like you say it like it's normal. You're probably one of the only
Yeah.
people in the country who do it this way. So break down how
It's,
that works to the point where you're able to hit volume. Like,
mhm,
please, I'm really
yeah.
interested in that, please.
So, I was just trying to think of a way to manage our finances, our job costing, our time management, training new employees. And so we created this system where we operate on 10-day cycles, which is 2 working weeks. And so we know exactly how much income we need to bring in within those 2 weeks, which makes it great because usually it's like, let's say it's $20,000 we need to bring in every 10 days. Then we just fill in the jobs with that amount of work. So generally it's about 3 kitchens is what we're doing every 10 days. So on day one, we have a crew of 2 who goes and they tear down all of the doors and drawers. So they'll start at 8, tear down kitchen 1, bring those doors and drawers back to the shop where we have a prep crew here ready to prep all of those doors. So day 1 is all prep and tear down. So then they go to kitchen 2, tear those down, bring them back. Kitchen 3, tear those down, bring them back. So day 1, we do batch processing because I'm figuring if we're doing 1 kitchen, it's just as easy to do 3. And
Right.
so, and it's very easy, like if they want to throw in a vanity or whatever, you just have to stay organized with the colors and the substrates and
Right.
all of that stuff. So day 1 is our prep day. We get everything prepped on day 1. And then that way it gives them overnight to dry. So they're ready to be sanded. Day 2, we sand all of the doors and drawers and we prime them because you always want to sand and prime or sand and coat in the same day because the substrate can move and fold back over. So you want to get the best adhesion. So day 2, we sand and prime. Day 3, we sand and coat. Day 4, we finish sand and finish coat the fronts of the doors. And then day 5, we package and get everything ready to go.
Wow.
So that's day 1. That's the first 5 days of the 10-day cycle. And then the next 5 days, Fridays are usually a light day. And I only have 2 people in here in the shop, Rachel and Allie. They're in here working today. But they're doing like a lot of our paint stuff, filling orders. They're here if we need to install or extra work. But Fridays are my light days on both day
Right.
5 and day 10 of the
Right.
cycle, just in case I have to do extra stuff.
Right.
Day 6, we have a prep crew that goes and they'll prep, sand, and mask kitchen 1. And then I'm free to do whatever I need, like business stuff on that
Sure.
Monday. So they're out prep, sanding, and masking. Day 2, they'll prep, sand, mask kitchen 2, and I'll follow them and I'll set up the spray tent. I'll prime, sand, coat, and install kitchen 1. Then we just kind of repeat that. So then on Tuesday, they're prep, sanding, masking kitchen 2. I'm spraying kitchen 1. Wednesday, they're prep, sand, masking kitchen 3. I'm spraying kitchen 2. Thursday, I'm spraying kitchen
So you
3.
spray the
Friday, I have
frames.
off. Mm-hmm.
So you
Yep.
spray all the frames. Why are you
Right.
still spraying the frames? Just curious.
I'm in the process of training.
Oh,
So I always take a different lady with me,
yeah.
and I'll have them spray the primer so they get the
The
practice,
experience. Yeah.
but I'm there and I'll do the finish coat just,
Wow.
and we're in the process. The goal is by
What
the end
an
of the year to have at least 2 spray techs who can spray on site.
amazing system. And I
So,
think what's cool about that is it encourages everyone that there's like this finish line, right? That
yeah.
like we just went through this 2-week stretch, 3 happy customers every 2 weeks.
Yep.
That's really cool. How do you see
Yeah.
that on a scaling, if that's one of your goals, how do you see that
Mhm.
scaling? Just pretty much double what you're doing now?
Yeah. So, I was at a retreat with Nick Slavic and some of his friends, and that was one of my questions. Like, because I felt right now we're doing 3 kitchens every 10 days, and we're booked till mid-November. So it's
Goodness.
like, I can't raise my prices anymore. Well, I could, but I feel like our
Yeah,
average kitchen right now is between 8,000 to 8,500, which
that's
is
great.
that's at the high end for sure. And so my question to them was, where do I go from here? Like, do I bring on more people and risk our culture that we've established,
Right.
and or do I raise my prices more? Like, where do I go? And the feedback I was getting was like, because right now I love our team, I love our culture, I love what we're doing, and their feedback was why risk it? And you just pour into the people that you have now, train them up because they are all relatively new. And then work yourself out of that. By the end of the year, you should be
Right.
able to work on just the business end. And for me, I love coaching. I love
Right.
training. I love just kind of the teaching aspect, and I'd love to go help other businesses create and implement 10-day cycles in their business and travel and just kind of
Yeah.
go out and do that. So
Sure.
like that's kind of the future of it, I think, is just going and
Which is
serving
wide
people.
open because
Yeah.
it's I don't think like there's this like set way. I think everyone's just trying different things, you know.
Yeah.
I really think it's what you've built is really cool in terms of just the process, but I also think that like if you talk to anyone, well, hiring is so hard, but like
Mm.
not only did you dominate hiring, you dominated a market of hiring that nobody really touches, which is mothers and grandmothers in an
Yeah.
industry where you hear women when people say, women are extremely detail oriented, generally speaking.
Hmm.
And it's just
Yep.
so cool that you've brought that. And I'm sure your customers are just like, whoa, like women coming in and doing these paint jobs. Like, I think it's an
Yeah.
untapped market of unlimited potential that you found a way to curate. And I'm sure it gives you some intrinsic value as well to know that
Yeah.
you're helping these mothers be able to balance their family life in the same way that you did when you were raising
Hmm.
your kids. Because I heard your story, which as much as I'd
Yeah.
love to have you share this here, I know that we're out of time.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that that gives you as much, satisfaction as possible. It's like you see a mother who wants to contribute to the family, and they also want to do something that they love and on a part-time basis. It's very rare to see even part-time work in the painting industry anyway. So what you're doing is
Yeah.
just like breaking down these like limiting barriers and
Mhm.
adopting to a new lifestyle that's occurring in an industry, and especially with cabinets, that's just going to explode. Like, I mean, it's insane. It's just like the fastest growing sector in, I believe, the trades. Would you agree?
Yeah. Yeah, I would absolutely agree. And I love the way that we run our cycles too, because I'm always able to follow our crews
Right.
and the way our customers rave on them. You aren't lying because they a lot of our customers we do I mean, it's all word of mouth and Facebook.
Right.
And they're like, "You're not lying when you post about your team and how
Yeah.
awesome they are. Like they're such hard workers." And like it's so great to know that our customers are edifying them in the same way and they're saying seeing the same things that I'm seeing in them. And you're right, like moms are hard workers. They are great multitaskers. They are, they
They're
can
the
do
best
anything,
multitaskers.
like they're just really, and they have a heart, and we don't have to break down any walls of trust with our customers. I mean, you
Right.
got a team of moms walking in, like people are just they love them. And
Wow.
so it's really
Yeah,
a neat
it is.
environment.
It is, and that's why I wanted to invite you here is just because your perspective is, changing the game, and, with respect for your time on a Friday, I do wanna kinda transition into a few things. The first thing
Yeah.
is the that I don't know, not many people know this, but you actually distribute paint.
Yes.
Um, uh, super and before we really connected, Core, I was trying to
Mhm.
figure out what the heck you were doing. You're like, people are like, "Well, what color did you paint that?" You're like, "Oh, we painted it Faith." I'm like, "What the heck is Faith?" Is that a Sherwin-Williams color? Are they starting to, turn the corner and see the light or what? So I was just,
Yeah.
and then obviously hear it again, how it came about with your
Yeah.
partnership with Malesi, which is a phenomenal. Who are you selling
Yeah.
this to? Is it working on the
Right.
business side? And
Yeah.
do you see that expanding into, because I know that you help the DIYers, and tell
Mhm.
me a little bit about what that is and how it's working.
Okay, so the coding line actually started during COVID, and my husband and I were listening to an entrepreneur, and he put out a challenge. He was like, "You should try and make," it was like $2,000 in a day. And I was like, "Oh, how am I going to do this?" And my husband and I are kind of competitive, and I'm like, "I'm going to do this." And he's like, "No, I'm going to do this." And I'm like, I'm going to do it faster." And
Yeah, yeah.
so I this was kind of like in the back of my head for a while. So I called up DC and we're talking to Malaysia and just making sure that everything was okay. And I was like, I'm gonna launch a coding line and I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna make it in a day. And so we actually put out the product for pre-sale before we had any of the coatings. And we blew by that. And I
That's
used
nuts.
that money to invest it in the coatings and just get everything. So it wasn't like, um, it was a great way to start up a business because I
Right.
had like money to invest. And so, and it was also a great time because my kids were home. And so they helped me come up with all of the names for our
Right.
paint. They're
Yeah.
all like, you can see humble, compassion, unity, thoughtful. They're all over our building. And so we came up with the names, the colors. Um, my son Mackenzie, he is a graphic designer, and so he did all of our labeling and whatnot. So I just saw a need. There was a need for a
Right.
higher end coating line because I have a network of furniture artists too, because I did furniture for a long time. And the quality of the products that furniture artists are using just were not comparable to what we were
Wow.
using for our kitchen cabinets. And so there was definitely a need. And you know, there's products that do specific things, but when I learned about these industrial coatings, I was like, oh my gosh, I can glaze, I can distress, I can do a lot of the same things. Now blending and things like that,
Right.
it's a little bit more challenging. But there was also a lot of people who wanted to try industrial coatings who were scared out of their mind to go
Yeah.
that route.
Like, where would they even get it? Right. Like, that's probably the
Yeah,
question. Right. Yeah. Interesting.
right. And they didn't want to invest in like a whole gallon. And so we just sell quart sizes. Like that's really what we do here is we just sell quarts to
Now,
furniture
how are sales
artists and
working out for you? Is it a big part of
great.
your business? That's awesome.
It's a pretty decent size.
Yeah.
Right now, I love it because we have 16 colors, and it's really just worked out great for our cabinet
Love
refinishing
it.
business because we give our customers 16 options. We've got four whites, four
Oh,
grays, a
love it.
black, a
So,
brown,
and
some
that's,
colors.
oh,
That's what they
system.
get to
Yeah.
choose from,
I love it.
and it limits their colors, and it just
Yeah.
really helps our cabinet refinishing business
Sure.
more than anything.
Even though a
So
majority of it's white, but still, when
yeah,
you have those people
yeah,
that want to try something new, it's nice to be able. That's great. That's awesome. Yeah,
right.
super cool. And then of course the last thing I want to talk about is our event that's coming up. It's the Impact. I'm going to call it a summit. I mean, it's
Yeah.
huge. It's going to be cool. What is First of all, I know, and I want to thank you. And for those of you who don't know, Corey invited me to speak. I'm really excited about that. I'm going up to Pennsylvania with my family. It's going to be a great event, but I really want to hear, what people can expect if they actually decide to go to this event,
Yeah,
right? I mean, first of all, you have a shop there. Like I keep telling you, you're going to have to get a bigger space for this
I
event
know.
because it's going to be good. You got people flying in from all over. What
Yep.
is your goal with the event? What can people expect if they do go to this event?
Well, last year I ran an event every month, and my goal was always just to add value to people and to help businesses grow and give you something tangible that you can take with you and apply it directly into your business. And so last month I was running a class a month and I would bring in different speakers on different topics. And it was great, but I felt like I was always promoting and
Right.
people wanted to attend everything, but because of limited time, they couldn't. So this year I was like, I'm just going to do a big one and I'm going to invite my favorite people and I'm going to make it big and so we can add the most value in the smallest amount of time. Everybody can skip away for a weekend and join us. And sure enough, like, oh my goodness, I cannot believe the people who are coming to this. I feel like a kid in a candy shop because it's like my favorite people who I've learned and studied from. I mean, I'm so excited to have you
Yeah,
kick it
I'm
off.
stoked. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's going to be awesome. And we're just going to try and give everybody, it's going to be the most well-rounded class. I've attended a lot of classes, but I just
Yeah.
wanted to kind of make it as
I keep telling
well-rounded.
people it's the Expo 2.0. I mean,
Yeah.
with all the people that are coming, I know Nick's coming,
Yeah.
Jason, the people that are really trying to advance
Yeah.
the industry. Day one is speaking,
Yep.
community networking, and then what
Mhm.
is day two, right? Let's assume I'm a
Okay.
cabinet refinisher. I want to come to this. I want to learn something from you. What is the outline for day two? What can I expect?
Okay. So, well, let's just go through real quick. Monday night, Tanner's kicking off with mindset, and that's followed by Jim Dorf with business growth. Then my mentor, who taught me everything on social media, is coming in, and she's
Oh,
going to give you
she's
some
coming,
social.
that lady you mentioned in the
Yes,
oh, okay, cool.
yeah, she's
That's
coming.
awesome.
So she's going to talk on social media strategies. And then that night, Skylar and Mary Faria, the owners of Surf Prep, they're gonna be our keynote speakers,
That's
and
awesome.
their story is phenomenal. So it's gonna be just like the business aspect on Friday night. Saturday morning, we've got Diane Shattuck, who is incredible. She is the best teacher, and she's going to break down coding science made simple, because we all hear like 1K, 2K,
Right.
pre-cat, like all of these terms. She is an incredible teacher that's going to simplify it for us. Denny Jantz, Denny is one of my favorite people in the world. And again, another great, incredible teacher. He's going to talk about identifying your substrate and choosing a course of action. Skylar, the master himself, is going to talk on sanding. And then I'm going to talk about transitioning your business from brushing and rolling to spraying on site. And so I'll give you a list of all of the tools that I use, because we just did this um, last Easter. Easter
Yeah.
is when we started spraying on site. So we were brushing and rolling everything before that point. So what we've learned over the year and how we've managed to make it successful and get great results for our customers. So we're going to do that. And then there's a hands-on portion. So what we send out all of our attendees a questionnaire and like where they want to go. And then you can go in if you want to learn more about how to set up spraying on site and all of this stuff, or if you want to go sand, or if you want to go prep doors, or if you want to go to the spray
Right.
booth and just spray all day, you're able to go, so that because everybody has different needs, and get more attention and focus where you want. And then that night, anybody from Friday night session, like let's say you want to learn more about implementing subcontractors into your business, you can go and meet
Yeah.
with Jim. Or if you want more social media strategies, you can go with Rebecca. So you can go and pick and choose that night. And then Sunday morning, we're having a non-denominational church service here. We actually host church here on Sundays in my shop. And then in the afternoon, we're going to have a product expo where we're bringing in people from TriTech and Dripjobs and
Yeah, we'll be there.
all some of my favorite vendors. Clark Deco is coming, and he represents Lacey, Renner, CIC, and a new specialty product that he's bringing in. I think it may be in Viralac. I'm keeping my fingers
Okay.
crossed, but but yeah, there's Green Fast Cure. There's just a lot of great
Yeah.
vendors coming in. So it's
Yeah.
going to be an awesome
And if
event.
anything, it's the networking, right? It's being
Oh
around
my
people that have
gosh.
done this before,
Yes.
being around people that are doing it at the highest possible standard.
Yeah.
And so if you are somebody that owns a painting business, I don't even care if you do cabinets. If you own a painting business, you need to come just to be around people that are
Yeah.
doing it at a high level. A lot of pressure to put together an event like this, I imagine, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Well, when Nick Slavic buys a ticket from you, you're like, what?
Yeah, you're
What?
like, all right, standard
It's like,
went
this
from
is crazy.
yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah,
like, we really got to perform now. Nick's
yeah,
coming.
yeah. Places,
So, yeah,
people.
I know. It's like, let's go. Let's
Yeah,
go.
yeah. Well,
Oh my
Corey,
gosh.
I got one question that came in. I didn't want to forget about the person that asked it. This was when we were speaking about, how your part-time flow works. Corey,
Mhm.
do you have to scale back operations over the summer when the kids are off school and your employees have other responsibilities?
Yeah. Interestingly enough, no. Our schedules do change, but a lot of our employees can give more time over the summer, which is awesome. So Allie, she is a nurse and she works with us, and her husband is a teacher. So over the summer, he's home and he can watch. Brooke, she's the one with 6 kids. She can give me an extra day in the summer times too, because our oldest daughter is home to help with the kids. So we've actually been able to increase some hours during the summertime, which has been great. We make adjustments as needed, and that's the beauty, I think, of having all part-time workers. And we train all of our employees in every aspect of our business. So if there is an emergency, like a sick kid, or if there's a family emergency or whatnot, Jen just had carpal tunnel surgery. So we have people who can fill in those gaps and step right in, and we don't skip a beat. So we train everybody to do everything.
Huge. Huge maneuver, and everybody puts their hands in. It's amazing what you guys can
Yeah.
accomplish. Corey, thanks so much for joining me today on the Contractor
Yeah.
Secrets podcast. Can't wait. I mean, time is moving so fast. I mean, we're 6 weeks out. I got to
I
go
can't
rent an
wait.
RV. I got things I got to get in place for this. No snow up there, right? At that time, I don't know how it
No,
works anymore. I moved a long
no,
time ago.
no. We should be done with snow, I'm hoping.
Good, good, good. I'm a Florida guy now,
Yes.
so I'm not used to
Oh,
that.
yeah. Oh man, I wish I was a Florida girl.
Yeah, it's nice. It is nice. Well, thank you again,
Yeah.
Corey. And
Yes.
I'm sure we'll talk again soon. If anybody wants to find out a little bit about the event or reach out to Corey, just go to inspiredbyu.com. That's inspired by you, the letter U, not YOU, the letter U. So reach out to
Yep.
Corey. I'm sure she'd be more than happy to connect with you on Facebook, or just go to the website, grab a ticket, and don't think twice about it. Just go, and
Yep.
we'll see you there. All right. Thanks again, Corey, and you enjoy the
Thanks,
rest of your day.
Tanner.
Okay. Thanks so much for checking out that episode of Contractor Secrets. And before you go, I want to share with you what I'm calling a pro spotlight. That's right. These are contractors just like you using Dripjobs and winning. And that was the whole purpose of creating it. So, Randy Smith with Delta Pro, he decided he'd give me a few minutes of his time to really just talk about how he's using it. And, I think you might get something out of it if you're thinking about joining Dripjobs, or if you already are, see how someone else is benefiting as well. So that starts right now. Real quick. What's going on, everyone? I'm here with Randy Smith, DuraPro. You may have heard of him if you listen to podcasts. He is someone that did a business breakthrough with me and is also a Dripjobs user. I'm just going to start off, man. You're doing this for me, and Dripjobs, of course. I just want to know raw thoughts about what the software's done for you. Are you a fan? Do you hate it? What do you what are your thoughts?
Yeah, man, I absolutely love it. Definitely what I was looking for in a software in a CRM. Like before Dripjobs, I couldn't even tell you how many different like softwares I was trying to use and manage to accomplish the same thing. And it was just a headache. And then now just having the all-in-one is a big thing. And then from there, my favorite thing is really, I feel like it's just taking my sales process, to the next level. And as far as, communication, the biggest thing is like the speed of communication. Customers love, nowadays with Amazon and everything, like everyone wants things now.
They're used to it.
Yeah. So like, for example, yesterday I had, someone see my Facebook ad, they filled out the request, and it was at like 4:30 p.m. and I was leaving the job site, and they said today worked. So it was like scheduled for 6 p.m. Drove over there and showed up. So it's
that
like
quick. Yeah.
within an hour, they've got an estimate in their hand on the spot.
That's powerful.
So yeah, it's definitely taken the sales process to the next level, which is big. And I love the customer portal. Like it's just super professional, and you can throw all the details in there. It looks really nice. Being able to present it on the iPad.
Are you selling on the spot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, man. I love selling on the spot. I think it just
getting people to squiggle on the with their finger on the iPad.
Yeah, I think it just makes your close rate go up, having just Dripjobs alone with the ease, like how easy it is for them to sign with you, right? You've got iPad out, they can see everything. They can put their credit card info, which is big. So that's probably my favorite part, is just, it gives me that confidence that I feel like we're the most professional company compared to the competitors, and you can kind of sell your jobs for more. You go into estimates, with a different mindset, like knowing that, hey, we're going to be the best company or option for our target market. And you just have that confidence. And so that's been one of my favorite parts of it. Then on the other end too, just I love how I'm building up a pipeline, and I'm not missing any leads. So obviously, like, we're all busy with contractors, their phones blowing up. Sometimes it's tough to not miss leads, but with this, everything goes right into Dripjobs, into those cold leads. I don't have to worry about missing them, and they're getting those follow-ups. And it kind of is helping me prepare for, the downturn, because right now it's like, oh, everything's booming, phones are ringing, but I know that doesn't always last forever. So being able to prepare, have that pipeline of leads building up, so when you are slow,
you can reference it.
Yeah, exactly.
Have you used the blast feature yet?
I have not yet, but
It's a good feature. Dude, every time I hit that blast feature, I get something,
Really?
and for those that are listening or watching that don't know what that is, what he's referring to in terms of the pipeline is like you have a pipeline of every person that you've given a proposal to, or every new lead that has come through that maybe hasn't converted to an estimate. And all you got to do is hit one button and you can send out a message to just those people. So you can imagine if you have 100 people that you've given proposals to that haven't told you yes or no, or haven't opted out of communication, right? You can just blast them a message saying, hey, just reaching out today, we can give you $250 off your proposal. And every time I've done that, I've gotten at least 2 or 3 jobs. So I use it sparingly, of course, when you need it, but it's just good to be able to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome, man.
That, but I'll have to.
That's huge. I love what you said, man, because there's an interesting thing about what you said in terms of, well, number one, selling on the spot, right? Creating an experience. But dude, when I made this, it was out of frustration, right? Great things come out of frustration, because I know like you got to have the full circle from the initial intake to the final goodbye. So in terms of what your customers, like, how are they responding to the drips? Because some people tell me, well, I don't want to follow up too much. Like, I think it's annoying, or, automated. People think it's a robot. Like, what is some of the feedback you've been getting in terms of like the responses people have when they get a drip email and it's like 2 weeks later or whatever?
Yeah, I've gotten only good feedback from it, really. I mean, I'm sure it's annoyed a few people that, ended up not being our customer anyways. Right. So it's like, hey, you're never going to make everyone happy.
Right.
But overall, I think people appreciate the communication, like in the trades in general. have gotten a rap for, not answering the phone, not getting back to people. So I think being able to showcase, hey, we've got a system in place where, we're organized, we're on top of it, and we're communicating with you, from the second you reach out to us all the way to wrapping up the job. So I've gotten good feedback from it for sure.
Love it. That's huge, man. That's huge. So last question, bro. And again, thank you so much for your time. If you could let someone know who's on the fence, and usually everyone's on the fence when it comes to new software, because everyone promises that it's going to solve their problem. Can you give them a piece of advice?
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's a no-brainer. Like, has shaved hours of workload off my week. I guarantee that it's made me close way more jobs. I feel way more organized, more professional.
Yeah.
It's just, especially at the price point, it's like, I mean, I would spend $1,000 a month on it. It's like,
watch it.
Yeah, I know.
I appreciate the honesty.
But no, I just have a lot of good things to say about it. And
and for you to take time out of your day, bro, it means the world. You get a little gift bag, but it's like, dude, your time's valuable. It shows that you really care. Shows that we've done a good job as a company, giving you something that you rely on, where you cannot think about what's going on in your business. You trust us, and we take that so seriously, man. So thank you, bro. You're killing it. Me and you just discussed a business breakthrough. So if you guys want to go back and listen to Randy, what was it, like 5-6 months ago? It was quite a while, right?
Yeah. It had to be. Yep.
Yeah. How's business going? Good?
Yeah, it's going great.
Sounds good. Sounds good, man. Well, I look forward to chatting with you, brother. Thank you for your time. Get back to doing what you do best, and we'll see you soon.
All right. Sounds good.